Hey, this is 5Stack here. I'm going to provide the upshot for this video in case you don't want to watch the whole thing. So the upshot is yesterday, January 20th, I hiked from Wayah Gap, where I am now, to Siler Bald and back. And then today, the 21st, I hiked from here to Wayah Bald and back. So overall, the conditions, there was anywhere from 1 to 4 inches of snow. And the trail conditions were good. I didn't find that the snow slowed me down much. I did wear microspikes. There's a time to carry those microspikes. This is the time. So go ahead and bring them along. I think they'll be useful. The forecast for the next few days is really cold, so I don't think this snow is going to be going anywhere anytime soon. And I don't know if there's more snow in the forecast. So that's it. If you're watching this on Ramdino's channel, you can find the whole video. I did a vlog on yesterday's hike to Siler Bald yesterday, and I'm going to post that right now. So you can find my channel at 5Stack on the AT. If you're already on my channel, stay tuned. Here is yesterday's adventure. Hey, 5Stack here. I'm at Wayah Gap, mile 115.5 on the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. And I have a soft spot for early starting northbound thru hikers, because that's what I did last year. And there's a lot of issues that come with that. You're hiking along and it's cold. It can be a bit lonely out here, and morale can be low. So there are challenges there. And so what I would like to do today, it is the 20th of January, and is do a little out and back hike, about maybe an hour and a half round trip up to Siler Bald. And the idea here is to give a little update on current conditions. So this video, if you're hiking north on the AT and you run across this video, at least for a few days, it ought to be a good representation of some of the conditions you're going to see out here as you work your way up into North Carolina. And as you get into North Carolina, you start to get consistently above 4,000 feet, and there's a series of peaks above 5,000 feet, including Standing Indian, Albert Mountain, and Siler Bald, which is where I'm going to go in just a minute, and then up to Wayah Bald and some others. So stay tuned and let me do that. And if you're not through hiking and but you're interested in hiking in the winter, then maybe this will be interesting to you. The temperatures are it looks like the high is what it is currently at, and it's 16 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks like it's going to be down to 0-ish up here on the ridge tonight. All right, so off I go. The trail's down here. The road is clear up to Wayah Gap. It's got salt on it. And so, yeah, no problems accessing the road. All right, so far the trail has pretty good coverage in snow. Looks like there's a couple inches with maybe some older ice under that. And I did bring some spikes, some microspikes, but I don't have them on yet. I may decide to put them on in a bit. Pro tip for the section hiker or thru hiker: if you're staying at a hostel, and let's say you're getting out on a real cold morning, and I did this one time and it was 5 degrees, pack your bag and get all your stuff ready before your shuttle gets there. Because when you get to the trailhead and you get out of the car, you want to start hiking right away. You don't want to spend 10 minutes trying to find your gloves or your hat, because your hands will turn numb in that short period of time. So have everything ready to go. As soon as you open that car door and get out of that warm car, off you go. I'm always harping on safety, especially during winter hikes. And I have to admit, I'm a little I'm not following my own advice. I don't have my full pack, you know, with all my sleeping gear. This is only an hour and a half round trip, but anything could happen. There's no such thing as a hike without some risk. But I do have multiple layers, including down jacket, down pants, rain gear to put over that. I have a headlamp, I have a stove, and a way to heat water and stay warm that way. So I'm confident I would make it through the night. It would be a long, cold night if I had to do that. Oh, also hand warmers. I got about a dozen packs of hand warmers, which in all likelihood I won't need them. But if I see any thru hikers out here, I will be handing them out. So far, the trail conditions aren't too bad. In my mind, this is sort of the optimum amount of snow. And, you know, it's pretty, doesn't slow you down much. I am going uphill. And so I may decide to put the spikes on going downhill. That's probably, if I need them, that's when I'll need them. Even though it's 16 degrees out, I'm warm, plenty warm. I've had to get my fingers out of my gloves, zip down my hoodie. Just a few tips. Everything is hard in the winter, especially on those days where, like today, where the high is 16 degrees. One thing, on my hoodie, I like a full zip in the front on the hoodie, so I don't have to stop and take off my backpack and take off my hoodie, and when it gets cold again, do the same thing. I want to be able to unzip it all the way and zip it back as needed. And so I'm constantly doing that, or taking off a hat, rolling up my sleeves or whatever, just to keep that optimum temperature where you're warm but not sweating, because you don't want to get wet inside your clothing. Also, here's my water. This is the Catadine, and I like this in the winter because I can stop at a creek and fill up and do it quickly. The filter's on the inside. When I'm done, empty it, shove it back in my pocket. That way the filter doesn't freeze and get ruined. So yeah, every procedure you have, you need to optimize in the winter. So you know how to do it quickly. If you have to take your gloves off, do whatever you got to do quickly and get them back in those gloves and get hiking again. Keep this phone in my pocket and the battery as I go to keep those warm as well. Also water. On a day like today, if you're out all day, it's going to be freezing. So you want to keep that. I like to keep it in my hoodie. And today I don't have a hip belt, but when I'm backpacking, I put it in front, and the hip belt keeps it from falling out. I am at the turn off to Siler Bald, so it's a steep climb, but not that long. That way, and the shelter's down over the hill that way. I think it's about, I don't know if it's a quarter or a half mile, somewhere in there. It looks like, since it snowed a couple days ago, maybe 4 or 5 sets of footprints. So people are out here. Beautiful day out. I'm down to really just a couple of layers, and I'm a bit hot. But I just got up here and I'm gonna sit and have lunch, so I'm gonna cool off pretty quick. It's still around 16 degrees. And so I'm gonna go ahead and pull out my down jacket, put it on, and have some lunch. I have my microspikes on now that I'm going downhill. This is the first time that I have ever worn them, and I must say they're quite nice. I feel pretty sure-footed even though I'm going downhill, and I don't feel like the spikes are slowing me down at all. At least, you know, walking through 2 or 3 inches of snow. A little bit of a tip here: when I hike downhill and I take my steps, my legs are never quite straight. There's a little bit of bend to my knee, so if I step wrong, I'm not going to bend my knee backwards, and I have found that to be a good practice to adopt, even though you might spend a little more energy doing that. I think it's a good way to go. Keep those knees bent just a little bit. Testing these out on solid ice. They grab, but it's still slick. So the spikes do help on the ice, but you can't just go prancing across. You still have to slow down and be careful. I am back at the car, safe and sound, and that is the road up to Wayah, and that road is closed. And given how cold it's going to be over the next few days, that probably remains closed for a while. So, conclusions for the day. Oh, it was a great hike and a great view, and the trail conditions are really good. I do recommend the microspikes. I found them helpful going downhill, and I was surprised that they didn't seem to encumber you know, how easily I could walk on the trail. So good trail conditions, frigid temperatures tonight and for the next few nights, so approaching 0 degrees up here on the ridge. So the challenge, if you're coming, you know, maybe you're starting in Franklin or Winding Stair Gap or Rock Gap and going north, the challenge over the next few days is really those low temperatures at night. So I'm always talking about safety, especially during winter hiking. And I follow Taylor, the New Hampshire hiker, who's been doing a series on rescue reports up in New Hampshire. And I'm particularly interested in the ones that happen during cold times of year. So she's been doing that, and they always seem to say whether or not the hiker was prepared when they have to do a rescue. I mean, sometimes even prepared hikers have accidents and they need to be rescued off the trail, but they always indicate whether or not they were prepared, but they don't get into detail. So what did those ones that they considered prepared, what did they have in their packs? I don't really know, but what did I have in my pack? So here's my pack. It's just a day pack, and most of the stuff I had never even left the pack during my it was probably 2-hour hike. So I had a down jacket. I did wear that. Some extra socks, some down pants, never took them out, down booties, a stove with some fuel, and some water, an Nalgene bottle. I could heat that water with the stove and have a bottle of hot water and shove it down to keep warm. I did bring some food. I brought some good quality rain pants that I could put over things that would keep me dry. Good quality rain jacket. Some down gloves. Let's see, a pack of 10 pairs of hand warmers. So I could have, if I had to, I didn't use them at all, but if I had to, I could have taken them all out and put them in various places. So that's pretty much what I had today. I had a headlamp as well. So what do you think about what I took? Whether or not that makes me prepared if for something, the worst case, if I hurt myself and couldn't move and had to spend the night out on the trail while waiting for a rescue. So I'd be curious as to what folks would think about that. So I hope this video has been useful for those that are hiking north on the Appalachian Trail. And I hope they can find this video because it's a good predictor of what things will be like in this area, from Winding Stair Gap, probably close to Fontana Dam. Things are going to be probably pretty similar over the next 3 or 4 days through, say, January 23rd or 24th. And that's one of the challenges I had last year, especially when I approached Smoky Mountain National Park. You had sort of a general idea about what conditions were, but you really didn't have any real-time intelligence on what was going up in the Smoky Mountain National Park. So if anybody can suggest a way to do that, or if anybody's up there and can quickly post even just a quick update, that would be useful for those 2025 hikers that are following behind, because they have to make a decision on when to go into the Smoky Mountain National Park. It's pretty remote, and they have to be careful. You don't want to get stranded in there. So yeah, I hope folks have enjoyed this video, and the best of luck to all you 2025 thru hikers working your way up now. Take care.